Hey guys, just a quick one. We as a church are so pleased to have a number of families amongst us, and every Sunday there's lots of pattering feet and little voices and not so little voices and disagreements and fights to sort out and all those other kind of things that come with the blessing that it is to have children part of the church family. But as we've been looking through the book of Ephesians, we got to chapter 1 this week. We love to teach through books of the Bible and find out what God actually says, not just what we've been told by other people. And in Ephesians chapter 1 verses 4 and 5 it talks about adoption. And it talks about God choosing to rescue people. And what struck me was how God, already before he created the world, had adoption in mind and had already decided to do that. And how that actually influences how we understand the physical act of adoption now as a man and a woman or a couple decide to adopt a child for themselves. So verse 4 of Ephesians 1 says that God chose us in Christ before the foundation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. So the picture there is of Christians. Before the world was created, God had decided that they belonged to him. And it goes on and it says in verse 5, in love, God predestined us to be adopted as his sons through Jesus Christ. So God, knowing all the ways that we rebel and hate him and push against him, decided that we would actually belong to him. It wasn't that he looked at us and saw anything good in us or saw any propensity in us to turn to him, but actually he decided that we belong in his family. Now there is actually an invitation in the Bible to all people everywhere, whoever they are, to be part of God's family, to be adopted in a sense. So John chapter 1 talks about this. It says, yet to all who received Jesus, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. But in Ephesians 1 what we're seeing actually is the mechanics behind that and God's heart in what's going on, that before the creation of the world he decided that he would do that. So that is incredible to me, that before God made anything, before he even created the water that's falling as snow from the sky at the moment outside, before he created the mountains and before he set them in place and created any trees or rivers started to flow or any of the natural processes that we currently look at and wonder at and go, wow, that's incredible. Actually, in love, God predestined us to be adopted as his sons and daughters, that he had this in mind, that he was going to rescue people before he even made anything. And that rewrites how we see the physical act of adoption. I mean, we're in a culture where children are generally seen as a hindrance, as something that's going to get in the way of who we are and what we do. And yet, actually, if we see that at the heart and at the centre of God's priorities is adoption in the sense of God's cosmic purposes in saving people, actually it starts to rewrite how we understand the physical act of adoption and the great privilege it is to carry that out. So I'm looking forward to the day when we as a church family might have many children amongst us who could be from lots of different backgrounds, could have lots of different colours skin, could have lots of different things that they're wrestling with, and yet they've been adopted into people's families. Maybe single men, single women, maybe couples who decide, do you know what, we want to love a child. We want to invite them into our family, not because of anything about them, but purely because we want to love them and commit ourselves to them. And I'm just looking forward to that time. That will be an absolutely wonderful thing when we see that. So I wanted to share that with you guys and just really hope that you can see the amazing privilege and dignity that gives to the physical act of adoption, that God in his cosmic purposes has decided to adopt people to himself and save them and bring them into his family. And so we as human beings also have the privilege of adopting into our families.